Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick and today guys we're going to be jumping down into the world of XRP, taking a look at what's been going on most recently and what we think is going to happen next. As I get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe. Tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Now if you haven't yet joined us in Discord, the link is in the description down below. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there. And if you are looking for a little bit more from the crypto space, why not check out the Patreon services? We offer a lot more for our Patreon members via Discord, everything from AMAs twice weekly through to project reviews, trading, what Chris and myself are up to in terms of buying, selling and staking, and a whole host of additional benefits. Why not check that out if that sounds of interest to you? You'll also find things like Bybit, BitGet, and a whole host of other promotional offers down in the description below. So do check them out if they are of interest to you. Okay, let's make a start. XRP paired up with USDT. On the hourly chart, Binance is the data source. And, you know, we've been tracking these interesting kind of structures for a little while. We do think this is potentially an ending diagonal structure, which will lead us into a bigger collapse later. Now, that might split opinions, but it's entirely up to you on what you kind of feel or want to think about. Now, inside here, we have this horizontal line. We actually have quite several horizontal lines, and we have one vertical line. The vertical line down the bottom here, or in the middle of the screen, this one splits the people's opinions, basically, right? We've got 3 waves up, 3 waves down on the left-hand side, and then on the right-hand side, we've got the 5 waves up, okay? And so literally, I'm going to leave this up to you as to what you want to believe, as to whether you think everything is going to be super bullish, we're going to the moon, and there's no chance that we're going down, in which case you're just going to pay attention to the right-hand side of that dashed line. And if you're more of a realist, pessimist, or how else you want to look at it, but you believe in data matters, and this is kind of where I sit, I take into consideration that we have 3 waves up, 3 waves down, that then leads us into 5 waves up, as in 3, 3, 5, and that is a type of corrective structure. Okay, and you can look up, you can just Google, for example, 335 correction, and it will give you all of the expectations with it. Okay, now essentially a 335 correction has kind of an unlimited kind of range of what happens next, right? It could come all the way down here, it could just not come down there, right? We don't know what happens afterwards. All we know that there is going to be a move to the downside. And likewise, when we complete 5 waves up, then we do expect a retracement, but you know, that's actually a bit more measurable. We have a little target range for that, okay? So you can't go straight up in straight lines. You do have to cool off, you do have to have profits taken, and you do have to allow for things to reset so that we can continue moving up. Okay, so it's entirely up to you as how you want to look at it. I'm going to look at this personally as a 335 correction, but you could look at it as 5 waves up, just looking for 3 down into this range before having another 5 up if you want. It's entirely up to you. I'm just going to present the data as I see it. Okay, so that's kind of the bigger structure of what is going on here, and I'll leave it to you to decide which one of those you want to follow. Now, if we zoom in and we actually pay attention to what is going on inside here, well, we've got ourselves a bit of an interesting situation, right? We're talking about this wave 5 right here, okay? And this obviously is a part of a wave 3, 4, and 5. Now, inside that wave 5, we've gone 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, okay? 5 yet to complete. And this looks like a ending diagonal structure. Okay, so there are some rules that you have to follow when it comes to Elliott wave theory. In fact, there's a lot of rules that you have to follow, and this is why a lot of people tend to go wrong. Not only do they not know where to actually start counting their waves, but B, they also don't follow the rules exactly as they are. So they kind of tend to go wrong a little bit. So let's just talk about these 5 wave structures for a second here. Okay, and we're going to talk about what those rules are. So basically, under a standard kind of impulsive structure to the upside, you'll end up with something that looks like this. Okay, you have wave 1, which is just your regular kind of pump. You have a wave 2 that retraces anywhere between 50 and 88% of wave 1, okay, so it can be quite deep. Wave 3, usually, and typically is 1.618. I always say that it has to be 1.618, but depending on the literature, you get different varying results. I believe that it has to be 1.618 or greater times that of wave 1, right? So, for example, you would measure the wave 1 just here, okay? We'd move that over to the 2, and would say it has to be greater than 1.618 to be considered a wave 3. Okay, pretty simple. Wave 4 is typically 38.2% retracement of wave 3 and does not and is not allowed to cross wave 1. Okay, that's an invalidation. Okay, and likewise, wave 2 cannot cross the origin level down here either. Wave 5 is typically 1.236 to 1.618 times that of wave 4. So again, the fib comes in from the top of wave 3 to the bottom of wave 4, and the wave 5 is typically going to be between 1.236 and 1.618. Okay, and that's kind of your standard impulsive structure. You'd also argue that your subwave counts, and for the most part they should, have 5 waves inside the 1, 3, and 5 wave count. So you'd end up with something that looks like this. Okay, and these kind of go up. Now, this is kind of one of those things where you would expect to see this, but in crypto, you don't always see it because you just can't drill down that far. Like at some point, you're just not going to be able to do it. But for the most part, you should expect 5, 3, 5, 3, 5 as your structure. So when you see 5 waves on their own, chances are maybe you haven't actually completed wave 1 yet or anything like that. Okay, so that's kind of your bigger structure, right? But what is this ending diagonal? Well, an ending diagonal runs on a different premise. So let's go ahead and just draw in 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's just do a 5 here. Okay, we're just going to be looking at wave 5. Now, wave 5 with an ending diagonal structure, and I'm going to put it over here, would be slightly different. You'd have a wave 1 that's usually quite big, a wave 2, a wave 3 that's usually okay, a 4 that crosses wave 1, and then a final 5th wave. Okay, now with an ending diagonal, the rules are different. Okay, wave 2 is not allowed to cross the origin level. That remains the same. Okay, wave 3 can never be the shortest wave. Wave 4 is and must, in my opinion, cross wave 1. Okay, and wave 5 really is just a 3-wave structure. So we don't really have a clear-cut target for that, but it should usually peak higher than wave 3. Okay, now when you have an ending diagonal, and this is kind of like a perfect structure to it, each of these would only contain 3 waves. Okay, they wouldn't contain 5 waves. So where we had a 5, 3, 5, 3, 5 with the other structure, here what we'd actually have is things like A, B, and C all the way through each of those waves. Okay, so when we have an ending diagonal structure like that, it basically makes it a little bit more difficult to see the typical wave 5 impulsive structure play out. Okay, and that is where I think we are with XRP. So we've got an ending diagonal structure, in my opinion. Now, the ending diagonal structure has a big wave 1. We have come down for a wave 2. We've gone up into wave 3. We've come down into a wave 4. Now, the wave 4 has crossed more than 100% of wave 3, but that's okay because it's not actually a rule that says that wave 4 has to be greater than the origin of wave 3 or, cannot intersect with wave 2. It says that you can't cross the origin level of wave 1, so we can't come down lower than that. That would invalidate it, but it is still valid. It is an unusual one. You don't normally see it like this, but it is what it is, and I can't change what it is. It simply is a 3-wave structural move, and it comes down slightly lower than our wave 2 did. Okay, but it is what it is. Now, moving on up, we are looking for 3 waves to finish off our 5th wave. Now, typically, we would be looking to come up higher than 54.90 to kind of finish it off. So let's go ahead and plot this in. Okay, and we're going to move this in here. We're going to grab hold of, there we go, this one, and we're going to move this over to the recent low. And you can see that, our 1-to-1 ratio with an ABC actually falls short of this target. So it's going to be interesting to kind of see how things play out next, okay, because we are looking for that minimum double top, okay, and we'll be looking at that up here at least. But, I think for the most part, I would be more inclined to say that we're going to move up here towards the 1.236 area on here. Now, that actually resonates incredibly well with some of these key areas on XRP. We've been seeing a lot of 1.236. So I do think that that's going to be a double top right up there, maybe towards that 55.90. That might be actually where we finish off this entire structure for this 5th wave. Now, as I said, once done, we would be looking at a significant move to the downside. Now, typically, if we are to think super bullish about this, then we're going to come down at least 50% of this entire 5-wave structure, which puts us somewhere down here. And, we can have as low as the 88.2% if we want to be super bullish and think about, this being a wave 1 out of a bigger structure, right? So basically, we're saying 33 to 41 cent under the most bullish scenario, right? So if we want to be really bullish and we want to go into the moon, this is the typical retracement zone that we would expect. If, however, I consider these 335 corrective structure, then actually it's all off the table and we could come anywhere down here. It doesn't really matter. Could also just be here. It also doesn't matter. We don't know what that it looks like just yet because we have to wait for the next structure to emerge. So for the most part, XRP is looking to try to finish off this move to the upside before a complete collapse. And this follows pretty much most of what's going on with Bitcoin and Ethereum. Essentially, they're on the very similar paths. We're looking for a slight move upwards and then, you know, a complete collapse to the downside. Take XRP or, take Bitcoin or take Ethereum. They're looking for a third wave drop, which is 1.618 times their wave 1 structures, which basically means the drop to the downside is going to be pretty significant. And if XRP does complete this structure beforehand, there isn't really any requirement for it to hold up, and we could see a potential big collapse for XRP's future. So we want to be concerned. This is, of course, a great opportunity if it does happen, because, you know, the lawsuit isn't finished yet. There's still time, and, you know, another accumulation zone wouldn't be missed, I don't think. I think many people would be able to take advantage of such a discounted rate on XRP. Now, of course, there's going to be people FOMOing in right now, hit the top here, thinking that everything is about to just go to the moon, and potentially they are going to get wrecked in relation to that. But for the most part, I think this is a fantastic opportunity. Whether people will take that as a dollar cost average opportunity, or maybe they are not in XRP, maybe they want to jump into it for the first time, right? These are the things that I think about, and these are the things that I think could be fantastic for XRP holders as a whole. When it comes to the lawsuit, yeah, I think things are finally kind of moving along quite nicely. It's been almost 2 years now. So, you know, we're getting somewhere, right? And we're grinding our way through it. And I think whatever happens at that lawsuit, when it does decide to finally finalize, whether it's a win, lose, draw, settlement, whatever, essentially the price, in my opinion, is going to move up quite significantly. So we'll be keeping a close eye on it. Everything's looking pretty good at the moment, in my opinion. So we'll be keeping a close eye on the future of XRP, and the price appreciation I do think is around the corner and in the near future. Guys, I'm going to leave this video right there. If you have found it useful and informative, hit the like button. I do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With all that said, done out of the way, hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.